Logan says that they're a pain in the ass to install, but once they're on, they look great. And Michael says, looks like it came with the truck. Super easy to put on. So who's right? Hey, I'm Sheldon, and I'm going to walk you through some pointers that are going to make your install a lot easier when your seat covers show up. In short, neither Logan or Michael are wrong. If you take your instructions and chunk them in the dumpster along with the packaging when you take your seat covers out, you're probably going to end up more like Logan and struggle. But if you read your instructions, watch the install video, and take a watch on these tips that I'm going to give you, you're going to end up more like Michael and have a pretty good time. Let's talk about instructions. Read your instructions and watch the install video. Deborah says to save your sanity, watch the video to install this cover. Deb's a smart lady. Most of our part numbers have a install video that is specific to that part number. When you watch that, it's gonna give you everything you need to know to successfully install that specific seat cover, and it's gonna make your job a ton easier. Now let's talk about fastening the covers together. The hook and loop fasteners that we use are really strong. In fact, Julie says one thing to consider is do not let the Velcro on the cover touch the under fabric of the seat ever. The two bond as if you welded them together, and it is quite tedious to detach them. And that's true. And that's also by design. When we use a really strong hook and loop, that means it never comes apart accidentally. Here's a pro tip though. When you're pushing the seat cover between the seat back and seat bottom, fold the cover over so that the hook part of the hook and loop fastener is on the inside of that fold, and you can slide it right through without it attaching to the seat where you don't want it to. Let's talk about the seat back flap, and that's a very special automotive engineering term that I possibly made up. It's the flap that goes from the back of your seat down around underneath the bottom, just gives it that nice clean finished look, and you're gonna have to release that in order to put your covers on. It's really easy. There's just a couple elastic straps that you unclip and it folds up, good to go. But if you're working on a Ford, you're gonna have a little bit more work, still not a big deal. There's just two wire connectors that clip into the bottom of the seat that those elastic straps are wrapped around. So you gotta pull those out before you can release it. And all you gotta do to pull those out is you just pull down. You gotta pull down pretty hard, rock it back and forth, and they'll pull out. Once they're out, unclip the elastic, slam them back into place, and you're good to go. In order to get the perfect fit, you're gonna wanna make sure the cover's going on correctly right from the very start, because they fit tight and there's not a ton of adjustment once it's on. So starting with the seat back cover, when you're pulling that on, turn it 1/2 to 2/3 of the way inside out and pull it down tight against the top of the seat. And the reason we do that is because it fits pretty tight to just cram it down. Doing that is kind of like trying to put on a tall sock by just ramming your foot through it, and it never works. You gotta roll the sock down to put your foot in. Same thing with the cover. Roll it up, put it on the seat, and then roll it down the seat. And then once that's done, the headrest holes on the top, tuck them underneath the plastic trimmer on the headrest on the seat. It just looks so much better. If you're putting covers on a rear seat, there are going to be little metal loops in the back of the seat, between the seat back and the seat bottom, and that's where you're meant to latch in a car seat if you're putting car seats in your truck. Depending on the truck, the covers are designed a little different. Some of them have holes cut in the cover for those anchor points, some do not. And in those cases, they're meant to run underneath the anchor points and then around underneath the seat. So if you're looking at your covers, you don't see holes in them for the anchor points, don't panic, take a look at the instructions. It'll tell you how to put them on properly so that you can still use those anchor points. There's a few things that are really important to make sure that you actually get the covers installed correctly. And one of those pretty major things is the two strings that get connected together with the string lock underneath the seat. Don't wrap them outside of the plastic on the side of the seat. Don't run them straight back underneath the seat back, because both of those are wrong and your cover's not gonna fit like we mean it to. So take a look at your instructions, because there's gonna be good pictures and good video on exactly where to run those strings, but they're meant to go between the seat frame and the cushion, straight down underneath your seat, and then they connect together underneath the seat. So they'll go down and together. And that's what keeps the cover from shifting side to side when you're getting in and out. Also on the seat bottom cover, there's flaps that go underneath the seat. Now, we do that because by running the cover all the way underneath the seat, it just fits so much better. But if you try to run the flaps down underneath all of the wires and motors, if you got electric seats and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna call us and say they're too short. Run them as close to the bottom of the seat cushion as you possibly can. Then you'll be good to go. When you're fastening all the hook and loop together, whether it's the seat back or the seat bottom, pull it as tight as you possibly can. And that's gonna get you the best fit. You're not gonna rip anything. Take your time to make sure you're doing everything correctly rather than just blowing through it. Roger S. Craig II says, they fit great. Took 2.5 hours to get the driver's side installed. Now that's pretty extreme, Roger. I would say figure about 45 minutes to do a driver and passenger set on your first try. 45 minutes to an hour. Plan on that, you'll be good to go.